I still remember his hands, how they shook, not from fear, not from anger, but something deeper, something I couldn't name. He stood across from me in the sterile white room, fingers trembling around the thin edge of the hospital report. His eyes scanned the word over and over, like reading it again might change it. Positive. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. The silence was louder than anything he could have said. My scent was heavy in that room. I knew it, I could feel it clinging to the walls, to the bed, to him. It wasn't masked anymore. I didn't bother hiding it now. There was no point, because the truth was already there in his hands, and in my body. I was pregnant, with his child, but he was someone else's husband, not mine. Never mine. He had married her for the family name, for the business, for reputation, for duty. And me, I was the Omega who washed dishes in his estate's second kitchen, who passed him in narrow hallways with lowered eyes, who scrubbed the floors when no one else wanted to. The Omega who made herself invisible. Until I wasn't. Until that night. It was spring. The air was thick with pollen. Nights colder than they should have been. I had run out of suppressants. I thought I could manage. I thought my scent was still low enough. I thought, wrong. I woke up sweating, my skin burning, legs trembling. The heat came hard, violent. I barely made it to the servants' quarters bathroom. Locked the door, turned the faucet on to drown the sounds. But it didn't help. I clawed at the walls, pressed cold towels to my neck, bit down on my arm just to distract myself from the fire building in my glands. But nothing worked. It was worse than usual. It hurt, like my body was begging for something specific. Someone specific. Him. It wasn't just any heat. It was a triggered one. And I knew who triggered it. His scent, it lingered near the back corridor that night. He had returned early from a business trip. Rain soaked his coat. I passed him once on the stairs and felt it. That sharp twist in my gut. My glands pulsed. My breath caught. I ran. Straight to the bathroom. But he followed. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was fate. But I heard his knock. Firm. Slow. Open the door, he said. His voice. Deep. Controlled. Alpha. No. I whispered. My back against the cold tiles. Go away. I didn't want this. Not like this. Not when I was losing control. But he didn't leave. He didn't yell. He didn't break the door. He just waited. Minutes. Hours. I don't even know. I could hear him breathing on the other side. I could smell him. Clean musk. Smoke. That subtle expensive cologne he always wore, almost like cedar and ash. It mixed with my heat like fuel to a flame. And then, I lost consciousness. When I woke up I was in my bed. Clean clothes. Cold forehead. A glass of water beside me. And him gone. After that, everything changed. I avoided him more. Hid deeper. Lowered my eyes even further. But I could feel it. His eyes on me when I passed by. His shoulders tense when I entered a room. The silence between us. Louder than thunder. He never mentioned that night. Never asked about the heat. Never said my name. And I pretended it never happened. Until now. That maybe he did cross the line. He swore he'd never cross. His lips parted. But no words came. Watched his perfect suit, his polished shoes, his carefully set hair. All part of the perfect life he built. The perfect lie. You should go, I said quietly. He blinked, eyes still on the paper. Then slowly, he looked at me. Like I was someone new. Someone dangerous. Or someone he was scared to lose. I didn't know, he said. Voice low. Raw. My heart flinched. I hated him for that voice. For that sound. For making me think he might actually care. I turned away. Couldn't bear to see his face. You married her, I said. You chose her. I had to. Then you should have never touched me. His hands dropped to his sides. The paper slipped. Floated to the floor like snow. My eyes stayed on the window. Outside, the clouds were gray. Rain was coming. Again, just like that night. Whose decision was it? I asked. To bring me into your house? As a servant? He didn't reply. Because we both knew. It was him. He placed me in his world. Kept me close. Too close. And now I was carrying the price of that closeness. I'll leave, I whispered. Don't worry. I won't ruin your life. Don't say that. His voice cracked, but I was already reaching for my coat. Goodbye, Mr. Whitmore. That was his name. Formal. Cold. Not the way I used to whisper it in my heat-blurred dreams. I walked past him. Our shoulders brushed. Even through layers, I felt the pull. The unfinished bond. The silent ache. I didn't look back. Because if I did, I wouldn't be able to leave. It started with a storm. Heavy rain, loud thunder, and the kind of wind that rattled old windows. I was standing by the garden door, holding a tray of leftover pastries the other servants didn't want. My uniform clung to me. Too thin, too damp, too tight. My scent, it wasn't strong, but it wasn't hidden either. I didn't have money for new suppressants that month. The door creaked open behind me. I froze. I knew that scent, deep cedar, rain-drenched smoke, and something cold underneath. Like winter air trapped inside silk. His presence always hit like that. Slow and suffocating. You shouldn't be here, he said, his voice low, almost tired. I didn't turn, just nodded. I was just cleaning. A lie. Obvious one. The storm outside was better company than the silence of the servant hall. And maybe I was hoping he'd notice me again. He didn't reply. I felt his eyes on my back, lingering, heavy. I stayed still. I didn't know what expression I was supposed to make. I just stood there like a statue, clutching a silver tray with shaky fingers. His footsteps didn't move. Neither did mine. After a long moment he left, but I couldn't forget the way it felt. His eyes. That pause. It happened again. Days later, I was serving tea in the main drawing room. His wife was out, probably on one of her endless charity events. He sat alone by the fireplace, brows furrowed over some contract papers. I walked in quietly, placed the porcelain cup on the table. His fingers brushed mine. It was by accident, I think, but neither of us pulled back. For half a second, maybe more, our skin touched. Warmth crawled up my wrist. I felt it in my throat, in my ears, in my spine. He looked up. Our eyes met, no words, just silence, and that silence louder than thunder. I bowed quickly. "Excuse me, sir," and I fled. Back to the servant quarters. Back to my cold little bed tucked beside the linen closet. Back to safety. But there was no safety now. Because my heart, it started waiting. Waiting for footsteps. Waiting for that voice. Waiting for a moment that would never come. Shuffle. He changed after that. Little things. Small things. The way he used to walk straight past me before, now he slowed. Just enough for our shoulders to almost brush. Just enough that I could smell him longer. He started asking for tea more often. Specifically from me. The other servants noticed. "Don't get ideas," Maria warned one evening. "Alphas like him, they don't see omegas like us. They use them." I nodded. But in my chest, I was already breaking the rules. Already building stories that weren't real. I told myself it was just chemistry, just a confused scent reaction, nothing more. But I was lying to myself. Every time I heard his voice, my pulse jumped. Every time he entered the room, my lungs forgot how to breathe. I watched the way his eyes scanned the room, always landing on me even if just for a second. It wasn't love. No. But it wasn't nothing either. One night the house was dark. The staff had left early due to the storm warning. I was still there, folding linen in the upper hallway. His study door opened. He stood there, coat draped over his arm, shirt slightly unbuttoned at the throat. I froze. Our eyes met again. No one else around. Just us. His steps were slow, unhurried. Like gravity pulled him toward me. I held my breath. I could smell him now, stronger than ever. Like the rain clung to his scent, amplifying everything. His eyes dropped to my hands, still holding a bedsheet, then to my neck. My scent gland. I think I trembled. His jaw tightened. "You forgot to lock the linen cabinet," he said. I nodded. "I'm sorry. I could have been someone else," he said quietly. "You should be more careful." My mouth felt dry. "I didn't think." "No," he interrupted. "You didn't." His voice, it wasn't angry. It was frustrated, conflicted, almost hungry. I stepped back. The folded sheet slipped from my arms. I bent to pick it up, but he was already kneeling. Our hands touched. Again. But this time, neither of us moved away. He didn't say anything. Neither did I. But something passed between us in that dim hallway. Something raw, unspoken, dangerous. His eyes burned into mine. Then slowly he stood up, adjusted his coat, and walked away. No goodbye, no explanation. Just silence. And my heart shattered quietly in my chest. After that night, I stopped going near him. I took the back stairs, ate at odd hours, avoided every room he might be in. But it didn't help, because his scent, it followed me. Even when he wasn't near, I'd find his gloves left on the kitchen counter, his scarf draped near the window, traces of his presence, like ghosts haunting my skin. I tried to act normal, tried to focus on work, but every nerve in my body screamed for something I wasn't allowed to have. And he watched, always watched, from doorways, from behind his papers, from across the hall. His eyes never left me, but his mouth stayed shut, like he was punishing both of us. I started wearing my oldest clothes, ones with no shape, no scent trigger. I tied my hair up, covered my neck, avoided mirrors. I didn't want to be seen. Not by him, not anymore. But even then, one morning I passed him on the stairs. His fingers brushed mine. Accidental again. Maybe. But that spark still there, still alive, still burning. I wanted to scream, to ask why. Why look at me like that? Why touch me like that? Why haunt me? But I stayed quiet, because I knew I wasn't his. He was married, and I was just an omega with no last name. No rights, no place, just a heartbeat that beat for the wrong person. And a scent that made him pause every time he passed. I thought I'd never see him again. After that stormy night, after the way his gaze lingered, then vanished, I thought that chapter had closed. But fate has cruel humor. His father fell from the stairs. Dad fall. Fractured ribs. Dislocated hip. He was rushed back from the city the same night, and suddenly, he was here again. In the same house. Breathing the same air. Walking the same floors. His scent hit before he did. Stronger than before. Sharper. Darker. No cologne this time. Just raw alpha. I smelled anger in it. And something else. Hunger. I saw him in the hallway by accident. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was carrying laundry from the West Wing. Meant to be quick. But I turned a corner too fast. And he was there. Tall, sharp. In a dark coat still wet from rain. His hair messier. His eyes colder. But when they saw me they changed. His steps slowed. So did mine. He didn't say anything. Neither did I. My fingers curled around the laundry basket, holding it like a shield. He looked at me like I was something he couldn't recognize. Or maybe something he tried too hard to forget. He stepped forward. I stepped back. We passed. But the hallway, it didn't feel the same. It felt full. Like his scent painted the walls, seeped into my lungs. I couldn't sleep that night. Body too hot. Skin too sensitive. My suppressants were running low again. I thought they'd last longer. I was wrong. I told myself it was just stress. Just coincidence. But by midnight, my breathing was erratic. I was sweating through my sheets. The ceiling spun above me. My heat was coming. Too early. Too light. But real. I locked the door, draped a towel under it, shut the windows, pressed cold cloth to my neck, bit my pillow to silence the gasps. But it didn't help, because he was here, somewhere in this house, and my body knew it. My scent glands throbbed. The sheets smelled like him, even when they shouldn't. I curled up in the corner, arms wrapped around my knees. Begged silently. Please don't come. Please don't smell me. Please. A knock. 3 soft taps. I froze. Again. One more knock. My heart stopped. Then his voice. Low. Rough. You okay? I didn't answer. Silence again. Then the door handle turned. Locked. Thank God. I'm fine, I croaked. Please go. You're not, he said. I could hear the guilt in his voice. Or maybe it was something worse. Regret. I said go. I pressed my back to the door. Open it, he whispered. Let me see you. No, I said. Your wife. Don't say her name. That growl. It hit me straight in the chest. I bit my lip till it bled. She's not here, he added. She hasn't been here in weeks. I'm not yours, I whispered. He didn't respond. Then I heard it, the tiniest sound, his palm against the door. I never stopped thinking about that night. My breath caught. I wanted to forget it. I tried, but your scent, he exhaled, shaky. It never left me. You left me, I said. No answer. Then silence. I thought he left. I thought I was safe. But then I smelled him again, stronger, closer. Too close. I turned. He was inside. The window. He climbed in through the balcony. Like a madman. Like a beast. Get out. I tried to shout, but he was already across the room. And his eyes, they were red, dilated. Alpha in rut. No suppressants could fight that. I stumbled back. Don't touch me, I said. He didn't listen. His hands grabbed my wrists. Hot. Trembling. You're burning, he said. You're in heat. I can handle it. You can't. I struggled. His grip was firm but not cruel. I hit his chest with my fists. He didn't flinch. I hate you, I whispered. I know. I prayed to never see you again. I know. I wish someone else found me that night. But I couldn't finish. Because he leaned down and bit my neck, right over the gland. Hard, sharp, deep. I screamed, not in pain, in release. My body betrayed me, arched into him, welcomed the bite like it was waiting forever. His mouth was hot, wet. I felt the bond sear under my skin, felt it blooming like fire. Tears slipped from my eyes. Stop, I begged, but I didn't mean it. Because it felt like home. Wrong, but home. He licked the mark softly, then stepped back. His lips were red, my blood on his tongue. We stared at each other. Silence. My breathing was shattered. His chest heaved, and then he turned, opened the door, walked out. Just like that. No word, no glance, no apology. Like I was a mistake he couldn't afford to acknowledge. Like I was dirt under his shoe. And me? I stood there, marked, burning, alone. I was asleep when the commotion started. Voices in the hallway. Heavy footsteps. A glass breaking somewhere far. I blinked awake, heart thudding. The scent in the air was sharp. Raw, feral, pheromones. His. Even through the thick walls I could smell it. Wild, angry, unraveling. It clawed through the floorboards and curled under my door like smoke. My body reacted before my mind did. A deep ache spread in my stomach. My knees curled. My breath shortened. No, it couldn't be. He was supposed to be away. He was never around during rut cycles. Except this time. A sharp knock shattered the door. Then Maria's voice panicked. Open it quickly, he's losing control. I barely managed to stumble to the door when she pushed in. Her hands trembled as she grabbed my wrist. Come with me. Now. I pulled back. Why me? He's asking for you. My blood ran cold. No, you don't understand, she snapped. His wife isn't here. His rut started early. We tried sedatives. Nothing's working. He's destroying things. He's hurting himself. If you don't come, he'll lose his mind. I stood frozen. I can't, my voice cracked. I can't survive him again. But she was already dragging me down the corridor. I couldn't think. My feet moved like I wasn't inside them. Each step closer to him made my body hotter, my scent sharper, my skin itched, my lips trembled. I was stupid for not wearing blockers tonight. But part of me knew it wouldn't have mattered. Because it wasn't logic anymore. It was bond. It was scent. It was him. The moment they opened the door to his room, I felt it. His scent hit like a wave. Thick like smoke after a fire. The air was heavy, humid with sweat and alpha need. Furniture overturned. Curtains torn. His shirt lay on the floor, shredded. And him, he was in the middle of the room. On his knees, chest heaving. Eyes glowing red. Mouth parted. Breath rough like a beast caged too long. His head snapped up the moment I entered. Everything in him stilled. Our eyes met, and the room fell silence. He stood slowly. No words, just scent. Our bond pulsed like a wound reopened. I stepped back. Don't, but he was already in front of me. His hand gripped my wrist. Tight. Not cruel. He inhaled sharply like breathing me in hurt. You smell like fire, he whispered. His voice, hoarse, strained, desperate. Let me go, I said. but my voice was weak. He pressed me back against the wall. Don't run. I'm not. His fingers threaded through my hair, trembling. You're driving me insane. I didn't ask for this. Neither did I. Our breaths collided. His forehead pressed against mine. His scent wrapped around me like a net. I tried to stay still, but my body betrayed me, leaning into his heat. You said it was nothing, I whispered. You walked away. His lips brushed my temple. I lied. My hands pushed against his chest. But I didn't push hard. You don't get to want me now. I always did. His hand slid to the side of my neck. Over the mark, the faded scar from that night. He stared at it, guilt twisting his features. You marked me, I whispered. Then abandoned me. I thought I could control it. You can't. No, he breathed. I can't. And then, he bit me again. Harder this time, deeper. I screamed. My knees gave out. His arm wrapped around my waist, holding me up. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't soft. It was desperate, possessive. Alpha. His teeth stayed buried in my gland as the bond reignited. Sparks shot through my nerves. My scent exploded in the room, thick with heat, pain, and surrender. I felt the bond take root again. This time, permanent. My hands clawed at his back. Not to push away, to anchor. I didn't even know I was crying until he pulled back, mouth stained with red, eyes clouded. You're mine now, he whispered. You made sure of that, I gasped. We collapsed to the floor. He buried his face in my neck, inhaling like he'd drown without me. His body shook, and for a moment I thought he'd apologize. He didn't. He just held me tighter, possessive, obsessive, silent. The rut took hours. I don't remember all of it. Only heat, scent, pressure, whispers. Sometimes he said my name like a prayer, sometimes like a curse. Afterwards, the silence was suffocating. He stood first, picked up his coat, didn't look at me. The bond throbbed between us, new and raw and bleeding. And still, he said nothing. He opened the door, stepped out, left the room. Left me, blood on his collar, guilt in his scent, and I couldn't even move. I knew something was wrong the moment the tea tasted strange. Bitter, faintly metallic. My lips tingled, my vision blurred. And before I could stand, the floor shifted. I reached for the table. Mist fell sideways. Voices blurred into each other. Hands gripped my arms. Cold, rough. Then everything went black. When I woke up, the world smelled wrong. Dirty air. Blood. Alpha musk thick like smoke in my lungs. My wrists were tied. Ankles too. A blindfold covered my eyes. But I didn't need to see. My instinct screamed I wasn't home. I wasn't safe. I was in a place where omegas weren't people. Just bodies. I didn't know how long I stayed like that. Hours? Days? They drugged me often. Enough to keep me half conscious, half burning in a forced heat. My scent was thick, heavy, too vulnerable. I hated it. Hated the way they sniffed the air around me like animals. One of them said, "He'll fetch a high price." Freshly marked. Still unbond. I wanted to scream, to bite, to tear my own scent glands out, but my body was weak. And he wasn't coming. He had moved on. Hadn't he? That's what they said. Alpha like that? He'll remarry in a week. You were just heat relief. I believed them. Until that night, the scent hit first. So strong it sliced through every other smell in the room. Like storm breaking through stagnant air. My pulse spiked. I knew it. Instantly. Him. Then shouting. Glass shattering. Metal twisting. A deep growl shook the walls. Doors slammed open. Footsteps fast, wild, angry. I heard someone scream. Then silence. Then, where is he? His voice. Raw. Ragged. No control. No mask. My breath caught in my throat. Someone tried to pull me up. Drag me away. But then I heard it, a sound I'll never forget. A snarl. And then a body flying across the room. I cried out. I'm here. He was beside me in seconds, ripping the blindfold off, cutting the ropes. His eyes red-rimmed, wide, almost crazed. He grabbed me, pulled me into his arms. His coat wrapped around me, scent flooding every inch of my skin. I collapsed into him. He held me so tight I couldn't breathe, but I didn't care. Because he smelled like home. He smelled like mine. I got you, he whispered. Over and over. I got you. I got you. I sobbed into his neck. I thought my voice cracked. You wouldn't come. He pulled me tighter. His lips pressed against my temple. I'll burn the whole world, he said, before I let anyone take you again. But he carried me out himself. Didn't let anyone touch me. Didn't speak to anyone else. His coat wrapped around my bare skin. His scent saturated every thread. I buried myself in it. My head on his chest, his heart fast, uneven, terrified. We reached the car. He placed me in the back seat, climbed in beside me, pulled me into his lap. I should have felt embarrassed, but I didn't. I felt claimed. His hand never left me, one arm around my waist, one hand gripping my thigh, like if he let go I'd vanish again. I leaned into his warmth, breathed him in, and slowly, my body calmed. Unsee. That night, he didn't take me home. He took me to a cabin, far hidden, his safe place, he said. He made soup, but I couldn't eat. He lit the fire, but I still shivered. So he sat beside me, wrapped me in blankets, then unwrapped them, pulled me onto his lap again, let his scent drench me from shoulder to sole. I melted into him. We didn't speak. There was nothing to say. His hand cradled the back of my head, his nose buried in my hair. He held me like I was something sacred, or broken, or both. Hours passed like that. His scent wrapped around me like fog. Soft, dominant, safe. At some point I started crying again. He didn't ask why. He just held me tighter and whispered against my neck. You're mine. Again and again, like a prayer, like a promise, like he needed to hear it himself. You're mine. You were always mine. I was stupid to let you go. I'll never do it again. I didn't answer. Because I didn't need to. My scent answered for me. It curled around him, responded to him, accepted him, forgave him. My heat was gone now. The drugs fading. But my body still ached for him. And he knew. But he didn't touch me like that. Not yet. Not until I reached up, fingers trembling, and touched his face. I missed you, I whispered. His breath caught. Then he kissed me. Not hungry. Not rough. Just soft. Slow. Claiming. Like he was fixing something inside me. We curled up in front of the fire. His scent over mine. His mark pulsing under my skin. He didn't care about the elders anymore. Didn't care about his family name, or marriage, or rules. He chose me that night. Or maybe he always had. The rain had just stopped when we arrived back at the estate. Clouds still hovered, low and heavy, like they weren't done grieving. The tires of his car crunched over wet gravel. I watched the gates open slowly, mechanical, cold, like everything behind them. I hadn't stepped through them in weeks, maybe months, maybe years, if I counted in heartbeats. The house looked the same. But I wasn't. My hand rested on my belly. It was subtle still, just a curve beneath my coat. But to me, it felt louder than any secret I had ever kept. He didn't speak as he parked. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. And when I looked at him, really looked, I saw it. Fear. Not of them. But of me, of what he'd done to me. What he didn't do when he should have. What he let happen. I unbuckled slowly. My fingers shook. He stepped out first. Came around. Opened my door like always. But this time he held out his hand. Not like an alpha. Not like a master. Just a man who knew he didn't deserve to be forgiven, but still wanted to try. I placed my hand in his. His fingers closed around mine. Tight, warm, familiar. The moment I stepped into the main hall, every head turned. Elders, stepmother, servant, whispers exploded like sparks in dry air. He didn't flinch. I wanted to. But he moved beside me like a shield, like wind couldn't touch me unless it went through him. His stepmother's heels clicked loudly across the marble floor. Her perfume hit first, strong and artificial, masking something rotten. She smiled. Sharp, cold. Bringing him back here? After everything? She asked sweetly. He didn't answer. She turned her eyes to me, looked at my stomach. Her smile twitched. Let me guess. A mistake? I opened my mouth to speak. But he beat me to it. No, he said, voice low. A miracle. The room stilled. One of the elders scoffed. He's a servant. You're still married. Not anymore, he cut in. The papers are filed. You're ruining your bloodline. This is my bloodline. He took my hand again, raised it. Let everyone see. And then, he turned to me. I should have told you everything earlier, he said. But I thought if I hid the truth I could protect you. I stared at him, confused. What truth? He looked at his stepmother and said it out loud. You erased his name. Gasps. She blinked. What? You paid to delete his birth record. You bribed the council doctor to hide the bond confirmation. You made it look like we were mismatched. My throat closed. I didn't, she stammered. You have no proof. I have recordings, he said. Signed accounts, and the original bond scan. You were right about one thing. He is my fated mate. Everything around me blurred. Only his voice remained. You knew the moment you saw him. You saw how I looked at him. You saw what it meant. She backed up. You said if I bonded him, the inheritance would be frozen. That the elders would cut us off. You would have ruined everything. I would have chosen him anyway, he said quietly. You just didn't give me the chance. She slapped him hard. The sound cracked through the hall. But he didn't move. Didn't blink. He turned back to me instead. Held my face in his hands. I failed you, he whispered. I trembled. Not just once. Again and again. My voice cracked. It's not too late. His forehead touched mine. I want to claim you properly. No hiding. No shame. You already marked me, I said. I want to mark you in front of them. Gasps rippled through the room again. One of the elders shouted, if you do this, but he silenced them with one look. Then he turned me gently, tilted my head, let everyone see the faded mark on my neck. And then, he bit me, right over it. Deep. Final. Permanent. My knees buckled. I gasped. His scent exploded into the room. Wild, possessive, unfiltered. Mine answered. Heat spread through my chest. Through the bond. A perfect match. Undeniable. Irreversible. When he pulled back, his mouth was red. His eyes soft. But his posture? Unshakable. This is my mate, he said. My heir's bearer. He wrapped both arms around me from behind. Hands resting on my stomach. Anyone who touches him touches me. Silence. Tension thick as fog. Then slowly the elders lowered their heads. And his stepmother? She turned and walked out. Alone. Just later that night, I stood in the garden. The same one where he first saw me years ago. Rain drizzled again. Soft, gentle. He came behind me, wrapped a coat over my shoulders. You okay? I nodded. Tell me the truth, he said. Do you hate me? I turned slowly, looked into his eyes. I wanted to, I whispered. Every day. His throat moved, but every time I tried, I remembered your scent. He pulled me into his arms, held me close. I don't know how to be good at this, he murmured, but I'll try. I buried my face in his chest. Just don't leave again. Never, he promised. Not in this life. Not in the next. His lips found mine. Soft, long, real. And as the rain kissed our skin, his hand cradled my growing belly. This wasn't accident. This was fate. Always had been.